Hello and welcome to the Embodied Woman, a home for the authentic creative. How are you doing, Amber?
So good. So good. So
So
good.
good.
So good. I taught my
I
class
got
this
you.
morning. It was
Oh, how was
good.
that?
So good. It's just so good. It's just a happy, joyful. The ladies in there are just, they come in with an open heart and ready to receive and give and experience joy. And it's just this beautiful exchange,
Mm,
right? And the more free I am feeling, the more free they kind of, like
domino effect.
it is. Yeah. So
Yes.
I was particularly uh, on fire this morning
I
for
wonder
a
why.
number of reasons.
I
You know,
mean, so I wanted to share this story that I was starting to tell you, and then I said, well, let me hit record.
do
I
it.
had this incredible benefit when I first had my first psychedelic mushroom sacred journey, not like a recreational woohoo, but just like a really deep dive serious, it's serious, but it was with my shaman and my husband was there and we had our whole like intentional setting. After that experience, the beautiful, because there's always been a benefit for me coming out of those types of experiences since then, ever since then.
Yes.
And the benefit of that particular experience was we got the kids off to school. We sent them on the bus that morning after, getting back into our normal life. And we're walking and we said, oh, wouldn't it be so nice? Because I think it was like March. It was rainy. I mean, that doesn't really narrow it down around here.
Right.
We're saying, oh, wouldn't it be so nice? Our favorite place is Maui. To,
Oh,
to
okay.
be in Maui right now, to go to Maui. Oh, well, we can't really afford it right now. And then I'm like, well, delete that. Miracles are everywhere. Anything's possible.
Anything's possible at any given moment.
Hey, I'm open to a miracle.
That's right.
And I said, let's just be open. Like, really intentionally called in the miracle. And then the next day, I get a message from a random person I don't know saying that they have this house swap business. They're on one of these house swap platforms. And
Right.
they saw that we have, at the time, an Airbnb in Springville, California, which
Okay.
was Jake's mom's home that we had turned into an Airbnb for her.
Okay.
And I mean, Springville, California is like the
Where is
middle of
that?
nowhere.
Okay.
Okay, like you don't know about it and you live in California for a reason,
I've
right?
lived in California my entire
Okay.
life and I've never heard of it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so it's at the foothills of the Sequoia National Forest.
Oh, okay.
It's actually near where Julia lives part-time, Julia Thornton.
Oh,
So her art show is near there.
okay.
So it's like for someone in Hawaii, in Maui, to
To want to
want
go
to go
there.
to Springville, California, no offense, Springville guys, uh, it's like there's one restaurant, like it's just, you
There's
know,
a divine orchestration happening.
it's like what?
Yeah.
So Jake says this is a
A scam.
scam. Thank
Right.
you for the
Yeah.
words. I didn't
Yeah.
sleep last night. Okay,
Yeah.
it's a scam. My kid's homesick from school. It's a scam. I'm like, you know what? Maybe it's not. Like, I said I was open to miracles. They have a condo in Maui, like walking distance, like 1 minute from the ocean.
Oh my gosh.
They're across the street from the ocean, this family, and they're very, religious and I said something to her about this is a miracle, and she was like, "Oh my gosh, you're our people." Like it was crazy. So we do a Zoom call with her to like verify this is a real person, it's a real
Right.
thing.
Right.
It's real, it all checks out, it's all legit. And she's like, "But you have to go like now, like these dates, not during your spring break." Oh yeah, because it was like February. And I'm like, oh my God, we have to go. So we went and we had this incredible Maui vacation without
Wow.
having to pay to stay there.
Wow. That's amazing.
That was my first benefit from my first mushroom journey.
That was, well, you always seem to manifest these big things right
Do
after a journey.
oh.
Yeah.
Well, I think it helps that that was my first experience, and then you set
Right.
up in your mind that that's just how things go.
This is what happens. Yes. Yes. I am so open to a miracle today. So open to a miracle today. Right now,
Yeah.
in this moment, I'm so receptive to all the miracles. Can I tell you a quick story? We've got 2 minutes until Nicole comes on. But
Yes, please.
I was feeling so cared for today.
Hmm.
So I was teaching my class this morning and I saw my phone go off. I had a text message that my alarm was triggered. And so that doesn't happen ever, right? And
Mm.
so I finished teaching my class and then I got a call from the police department and they were like, this is so-and-so from the Palos
Ugh.
Verdes Police Department. And I was like, I'm not home, but yeah, like send the police out, check
When
out what's
you
going on.
got that call, what did you feel in your nervous system? Were you cool and calm? Were you freaked?
Well, I had just been dancing for an hour, and so
Yeah.
I was good, but I was just a little bit like, huh, that's
Okay.
odd. I felt a little like, that's odd. But I'll tell you, on the drive home from my
Yeah.
class, which is like a 15-minute drive, I got a text message from my landlord because his wife happened to be driving by and she noticed the police were here. So he immediately texted
Oh.
me saying, is everything okay? Right. And then I got a text message from my neighbors saying, hey, this is your neighbor. I see that police are at the house. Like, is everything okay? And so
Oh.
my landlord is so sweet. He literally said to me, he's like, everybody is on high alert protecting Amber. Even the alarm system is sensitive right now to protecting you and making sure that you feel safe and secure. And I was
This
like,
is a bad joke, but like Amber Alert, no, that's a horrible joke.
oh yeah, no. But but I'm feeling so protected and cared for and
That's lovely.
like I've got people and spirit and there's no sign of anything. So I have no idea, right?
Wow.
What tripped the alarm or what happened? And I checked the cameras like at the time when it was triggered, nothing.
Wow.
I think it was just a message for me to know that I'm loved and
Safe.
and safe, and I've got people surrounding me. And the police were here in like no time,
Wow.
like literally within minutes of the alarm going off. So I well, this is even funny.
Angels.
This is even funnier because this comes on the heels of text messages from who about how California is the not very safe place to live and we got to get out of here because it's so not safe. I'm like,
I love how you're like, you know who, like it's such a mystery. Wait. Okay.
anywho, but so today my message was, you are safe. You are
Yeah.
safe and you are
Yeah.
protected
Yeah.
with people and with spirit and with the freaking police department. So, the whole you're covered. You're covered.
Yeah.
So,
I love that.
yeah. So I feel good. I feel good. Feel good. And I'm open to miracles even more. I love miracles.
Well, this is the game that we're playing, guys, which
Yeah.
is will our guest show up? We don't know. It's a game.
Well, because especially when it has been, it's had,
Yay!
because we had to reschedule a couple times. And so we were not sure, but ooh,
Nicole's
nice.
Fathom note taker.
I like that.
I'm
Hello,
gonna get that
Nicole.
thing out of here. Hold on a second. Hi. Hold
Take
on.
the notes.
The note thing, it just joins. It doesn't ask. Let me
How dare it?
end it.
There we go. Hi, welcome. Nice to see
Hi.
you.
Thank you. Let me just get this through all of the right stuff.
Okay.
All right. I got all these
So, Nicole, while you're doing that, I'm going to read your bio.
Yeah, do it.
So, Nicole Laino is, am I saying it correctly?
You are.
Yes. Okay. Is a human design expert, Gene Key's guide, podcast and messaging strategist, and the host of the top podcast, Unshakeable with Human Design. She helps spiritual yet overworked entrepreneurs, experience rapid growth by not just understanding their purpose, but monetizing it. Together, they re engineer their business, life, and message to magnify their gifts and align with their soul's path. She also incorporates practical, energetic tools like EFT and NLP into her work to help her clients fully embody their highest potential. I love this.
That is a professional microphone, I will say. That is spectacular.
It's sexy.
Thank you. It's my friend.
Yeah.
You know, you got to look the part.
Well, you do.
Well, we're all actors, right? We have
Yeah.
this in common.
Absolutely.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'm happy
Speaking
we're
of,
finally doing this. Sorry, I was having all of my technical difficulty. I have to Zoom wasn't recognizing all of this stuff. I had to rework some things, but I'm here now. Hi.
we understand because we have had technical stuff happening all night long.
All day, all night. Yeah, it's something.
Yeah.
It's something in the cosmos. But we're here. We're here now.
We are retrograding, aren't we?
I believe
we
so.
are.
It certainly feels
Yeah.
like it.
That's happening. But we're here.
Hi.
We're here. Yes. Well, how should we start?
Well, I was going to say, speaking of the fact that we all have a background in acting, I'm curious, Nicole, about your background in acting. How did that get started? What was that journey like? That's a whole lifetime.
Well, I grew up acting. That was like my first love. And I fell in love with stories. To be perfectly honest, I was kind of a lonely kid who didn't have lots of friends, and movies were my friends. Characters in movies were my friends. I got lost in those stories. I got lost in books, and I fell in love with the magic of film and of television. And, you know, if you want to go deeper into my psyche, my mom was like obsessed with movies and television. So, you know, like,
Oh,
what do we do
wow.
to like get closer to our parents? If I could be
Yeah.
in there, maybe I would, you know, get even more attention. Maybe there would be that love there. So little deep dive into,
Yeah,
you know, my
good.
inner workings here. But so that was my first love. That was what I gravitated toward was performing. I did impressions as a kid. I loved
I
the
love it.
stage before there was a stage. The living room was the stage. You know, stand in front of the TV and act out what's on it and see what you get. If you get a laugh, if you get a rise out of people, it was a drug. I loved it. So I learned acting. I studied acting. I did it. I did not love the business of acting. That was where I lost my confidence. The performing part, fine. The selling myself part, not so easy.
Yeah.
So I did the thing that people do, you know, actors do. I was in New York. I was acting. I ran out of money, and you know, someone offers you a job and you take it because they suddenly are, you know, you're running around New York City with no health insurance.
Right.
And they're like, we'll give you benefits and, you know,
We'll take care of you.
like, I was just like, oh, I need to be taken care of. I think it just hit me at that point in my life where I was like, I'm a little tired from
The
feeling like
hustle.
I'm dragging it all on my own. And I think there was this part of me that was calling and saying, like, you kind of don't know how to do this, navigating the business part. So I truly believe that our journey takes us to exactly where we need to go. And some of us have a more winding journey than others. And where I landed now, I teach people to sell themselves through
So
understanding
fascinating.
themselves. And my acting background, you know, one could say that doesn't fit. It absolutely does, because I think that when I go back to what I really loved about acting was character study. I loved understanding the psychology of what made this person on a page become 3D, come off of
Yes.
it, what made them do the things they did.
Human behavior.
It's a study of human behavior. It is the fascination with human behavior. And then when I went to my corporate job, you know, I learned the strategy. I built different kinds of confidence there. And when I came
Right.
out of those two schools, I started what I do now. And entrepreneurship has just kind of helped me hone both of those crafts this whole time. And now I'm really great at being able to zero in on what's making these characters who are sitting in front of me as clients tick. And human
Right.
design and the things that I do help me get even deeper into that, and have only, stoked my fascination with human behavior and why we do the things that we do and where it all comes from. But I see my acting background as integral to what I do now, even if it doesn't make sense on paper necessarily.
Yes, for sure.
It
Makes so
makes all
much
the sense.
sense.
Yeah, it makes all the sense. Everything you just said, it could have been coming out of my mouth. I was just in LA and not New York, but that's exactly, I mean, I got my first agent at 10 and was in the industry. And, I just did a one-woman show a year or two ago. And the opening scene is me at age 10 with a hairbrush microphone singing Donna Summer, in my parents' bedroom in front of their mirrored closet doors. So, we were living a parallel life. And also, I completely understand and resonate with the business aspect of it. It really stole my confidence. I didn't know how to show up. And that wasn't my area of expertise. And so, I lost my joy for the performing aspect of it because of that. So
Exactly.
yeah.
And, you walk into the rooms and, you feel judged immediately. And if you're
Right.
vulnerable to that, it's like, wow, I didn't even get to like do what I do.
Right.
I felt like that the door closed before I even performed.
Yeah.
And that starts to kill what you love about what you do.
Right.
And now I'm proud as like, I wish I knew what I know now and had the tools that I have now back then. And that has been something on my heart. Like I was so happy when y'all reached out and were like, do you want to be on our podcast? I was like, I feel like this is actually something I've put into the universe, that I wanted to reach actors and be able to open them up at least to these tools that are available, these pathways to understanding yourself, and that grounding yourself as a human being and learning to be confident off the stage is going to help you to be more effective and get on more stages and be more effective when you're up there.
Right.
That's
Exactly.
priceless.
Yeah, the who you are and your talent and your gifts is such a totally different hat than being a good marketer of yourself. And those things don't have to look the same, but we are expected, no matter what we do, we're always, if we're not working for someone else, we're always needing to sell ourselves on some level.
Yep.
So it's perfect. And what you do, and it's so important and vital for anyone who's not working for someone else. That, even if you don't consider yourself an entrepreneur, whether you're a creative or you're just someone who's freelancing, working for yourself, we have to be able to know how to present ourselves and also understand our psyche and understand how our energy works, how we work, so that we can relate to the world and then show up in the way that's suitable to our unique blueprint, right?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And, I look at it like usually the more you know about yourself, the more you understand how your energy works, how people are reacting to you, why they're reacting the way that they do, what your gifts are. The more of that journey I've gone through, and the people that I work with, my clients that come to me for all different things, I have everyone from actors to corporate salespeople to entrepreneurs, coaches. Like I have all sorts of people. I have just moms that are like, I want to understand my kids better. That that
Yeah.
that the more you get grounded in your gifts, the more you start to see yourself for who you are. That's where confidence comes from. So
Yeah.
you don't need to market yourself as much. Where your marketing troubles come from are usually aspects where you feel like you need to be something other than yourself to suit the situation. And human design and gene keys, the main tools that I use. I also do EFT, which helps to kind of work through some of the emotional stuff that we have going on that might be holding us back. But as far as understanding yourself, these tools, human design and gene keys, they just allow you to see yourself without judgment and look at
Right.
yourself. So for those of you who aren't familiar, who are listening, human design is a system, and Gene Keys is a close cousin of that system. So we'll talk about human design because that's kind of the bigger one, and then Gene Keys are this other piece it's really, there are 5 esoteric systems that come together that give you this body graph that tell you who you are meant to be, the energy you transmit that you put out that everybody feels from you, and then the things that you are meant to receive, the things that you're not meant to be all the time, that are going to be they're going to have a different function in your genius. And when you can start to see the parts of you, and you can start to see, and how that works is, so if you have something that you're meant to receive, something that you are meant to be more intuitive in, more a wise in a different way, rather than putting it out all the time. If you have an area like that, like the ego center, it's a theme that we have. You might have it as something that you transmit, that you're here all the time to be. And then you might have that be something where you're meant to be more open into it. If you're pushing and trying to prove yourself, which is a theme of that center, that will typically lead to lack of confidence, feeling like you're behind, feeling like you're not enough. You might struggle with that more. Why? Because you see in the outside world people doing that. You think you need to be that based on outside world, not based on what you feel.
Yeah.
And so you try to be that thing, and that's the fool's errand. That's the tail wagging the dog. That's you taking action and trying to fill a hole. I always look at it like those centers, those places are like buckets with holes in them. We pour energy into them consistently and consistently and consistently, but it's all just running out the bottom. And we wonder why we're not gaining any headway. And the reason is because that's not what we're meant to be all the time. There's a different way for you to interact with that theme. It doesn't mean you can't be successful and achieve and all the things that come along with the ego. You're just going to have a different relationship with it. And the chart gives you this really unbiased view to tell you where you're meant to hit the gas and where you're meant to coast and receive. And if you start to play with that rhythm, and you start to play with that, rather than beating yourself up over not being able to be something that maybe you were never intended to be. And maybe it's in your highest good and highest service to you and everybody around you for you to not be that thing all the time. Maybe you're going to know something about that theme, but you can't know it because you're not receiving the messages you're meant to receive. You're not receiving the wisdom you're meant to receive there because you're trying to be it all the time. So you're trying to go in the outdoor, and you're blocking it up.
It sounds like you're saying you're trying to be the whole orchestra instead of just knowing what instrument you are and knowing what notes you can play beautifully.
Yeah.
That's a beautiful analogy for it. Yes, exactly.
So before we dive into more
Yes.
like specifics about the human design and Gene Keys, will you take us a little bit into your journey of, going from corporate? So you were an actor, right? And then you're like, this isn't really panning out the way I had hoped. So here I have this corporate offering. So clearly there was something that happened at that time in your life that has brought you to where you are now. So will you take us a little bit into that deep dive into your psyche that you took?
Sure, absolutely. Yeah, so I got a job on Wall Street. That was the corporate job that I got. I worked at a really big firm on Wall Street. I was doing incredibly well there. They really loved me, great reviews, all the things, big paycheck, big bonuses, not the ones that you read about, but big for me.
Yeah.
And I had all the things that seemed like what you want on paper. I remember like sitting, and I was there for 7 years. I was there for a long time, and I thrived for a while. And then there was a point where my intuition was telling me that your time here has come to an end. And I didn't listen because, you're in those golden handcuffs of just feeling like, well, how do I unwind all of this? Where am I going to find a job that pays me this much? What am I going to do now? All of those questions keep you where you are. Those aren't calling you. You're being called to your highest good. You're being called to the next level, but you're like, but this level feels so safe.
Right.
Even if I'm miserable, it doesn't matter.
Right.
So when the bubble,
Well, you finally had what you needed. You
Right.
finally were being taken care of.
But I think
In one
really what it was-
sense.
And what I think it was more about for me personally as an individual was I needed to learn how to do that. There were skills I needed to pick up there.
Mhm.
There was something that I needed to take on my journey, but now it was time to move on to the next stop. And
Right.
and the external me that was looking out and saying, well, how am I going to move on? Where are we going? Highest self is saying, who cares?
Right. We don't need to know. Soul's like, we don't need to know. Just take the step. Ego's like, but I need
Exactly.
certainty. Give me
Exactly.
certainty.
Exactly. But how? But what? Where am I
Yeah.
going?
Yeah.
So I had that question, and then eventually I had kind of for me a breakdown. It wasn't a breakdown. It was really just I got depressed, and to their credit, my company gave me a psychiatrist and gave me time off to go to the psychiatrist. Like I was able to
They're
leave
like, we're
early on
used to
Fridays.
this.
Yeah.
We get these breakdowns.
We have a process for this. We have a whole department dedicated.
This is not sustainable to the nervous system. So you're going to need some drugs.
We routinely run people into the ground here.
Right.
So by the
Yeah.
way, this is your case handler.
Yeah.
So they gave me like early off on Fridays. I could go to my therapist and I could basically go to a therapist to figure out and lay my plan for how I was going to get out of there. But I remember the feeling. I remember I was like standing with in my Louboutin heels, looking down in this big, 50-story building, looking down at West Street below and just thinking, look at all the free people down there. And I knew
Oh.
something needed to change. And I was like, you got to go. This is not the time anymore. Like if you feel like you're in this glass box in the sky, then that's no way to live. And you need to figure your way out, whether you understand what the whole path will look like or not. It's time. So plan the exit strategy. I did have like a plan where we kind of like got our finances in order, worked things out. And I just said to my husband, I was like, so I think I want to quit. And I think I want to move to LA and go back to acting.
Okay.
It's a lot. It was a lot. Bless him. And he said, okay. And
Wow.
I was like, really? He works remotely. So he's like, I can work from anywhere. I lived in New York my whole life. He's like, I think it'd be fun to move to California. And I don't like you like this either. Like, this is not good. So let's do a fresh start. So we moved, we did that. And, that pilgrimage over to the land of surf, sun, and fun was probably the medicine that I needed, was just that change, breaking away where I couldn't get sucked back into that world. Cause that was really what I felt. I was like, I got to get out of here. Cause if I try to do it here, someone who likes me will offer me a job someplace else and I might take it. So let's burn the bridge, burn the boats, so to speak, and go over there. And then when I got to California, I was like, the only thing I know, I went back to acting because I was like, that's the last time I remember feeling like me. And I need to find me. I lost me. The one thing I did do, you guys will appreciate this, while I was working in corporate, the one thing that I did do was I took an improv class because I was like, I signed up for improv because I was like, I feel like I've dulled all of my instincts.
Was it
I don't even know how to
Magnet?
respond.
Was it,
No.
what was it?
No, it was like a local improv class at like a comedy club. I just
Okay.
signed up for something in New York where I was just like, I need to go respond without
Yeah.
thinking. And I don't do that
Yes.
anymore. So my intuition was calling me for a long time back to something. So when we moved to LA, I was like, that's the last time I felt like I was connected to something that was true to me. So I at least need to start there. And I found a lot of the same things, the same struggle with the business of acting. I had to make money, but I was like, I'm not going to go back and do what I did in New York. I'm not going to be corporate because that's not going to answer my problems. That's not going to be the answer. So I actually started a software company. I got bought into the network marketing thing. Someone offered me a network marketing and acting. Someone in my acting class was like, oh, I have this opportunity. And I was like, okay. And there was something in me that said, this isn't it, but it feels like the right next step. And I took it. And then when I jumped into that, I saw a void in the market. My husband is a software developer. I was a project manager at my corporate job, and I built a software. And the software for that particular community did pretty well. And what I was able to do there was I started to reach out to people I was trying to get people to take on the software. I could do it on my time. I could go to auditions. I was totally in control of my calendar. So it was perfect. And when I started building that, I was meeting with everybody who signed up. I offered them a 15-minute call where I could walk them through the program and all of this stuff. Through that, I developed relationships. Through that, I developed people who would come to me for advice. And then I started kind of informally coaching. And then after I was doing that for a while, I was like, you should charge for this. And I really like this. This is interesting to me. I
Yeah.
feel like all of my skills are sort of coming together, and this might be the path. So it was, again, very instinctual and organic, the way that unfolded. And then that's the path I've been on ever since, just deepening my craft of understanding people, getting certified in different modalities so I was better equipped to help people through being stuck. Usually it was people who were helping some old version of ourselves. That I was no exception to that. I helped people who were having trouble stepping out, being seen, and really saying I'm worthy. It was worthiness issues that were at the root of, really being able to say, like, buy this from me, pay attention to me, listen to me. So that's how that all unfolded.
So good. What a beautiful story. And so many people can relate. And, I think our listeners are the ones that are either they've already left the glass building and are on the journey to being free, or they're in the glass building looking at the free people saying, how do I get there? Right? I mean, that's who we serve, because we all have that voice of our soul saying, there's more for you. That you're here for more. And if you're not using all of your gifts that you were born with, then something's off, right? So
Yep.
I love that story so much. It's a really powerful
I
story.
got full body chills when you were telling that part of the story that you just highlighted. And I
Mhm.
saw a book. I'm like, okay, Nicole's got to write a book about this moment in particular. And just the full body chills of the way you drew that picture was so visceral, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Whew.
I mean, I got the vision of you in that, glass tall building looking down, and just that moment of clarity. Look at all those free people, and you were not one of them, and you knew it was time. And I just think, it's so important to just really honor how courageous it is
Yes.
to take that leap into the unknown, right? And it's so beautiful that your husband was on board with you, to take that leap.
I don't know if I would have been able to do it if he hadn't been supportive. I don't know if I had been faced with a partner who was pushing back or fighting with me to stay, how I would have handled that.
Right.
He was so amazingly supportive, and I'm grateful to this day for him being the way that he is and being the man that he is, because
Yeah.
it allowed me to be here. I don't, and I truly believe I'm where I belong now. And it's
Good.
not an overnight thing. It's not like this self-discovery journey. Not everybody needs to leave corporate necessarily to find themselves and to be in alignment and to use their gifts. That's
Right.
sometimes the trap, is they
The
worry.
fallacy, yeah.
And I
Yeah.
have plenty of people who are able to work within those structures. It depends on the structure, it depends on the company, it depends on the person, it depends on
Right.
the job. But
Right.
a lot of times, sometimes people are just not standing up for themselves and asking for what they want, because
Yeah.
they're too afraid to, or afraid that they won't get it. So the assumption is, I've got to quit, I've got to burn the boats. And it's like, are you really there? Is it really a calling, or is it something that can be worked out within that structure? It's totally, dependent on that individual situation and that person. So
Yeah.
for people listening, your path, you just start walking it and let that unfold for you, rather than necessarily feeling like you got to have it all figured out, or you have to make rash decisions in order for the path to start to show itself.
It
Right.
sounds just like if you're deciding whether or not to stay in a relationship,
Oh
what
yeah.
you're just saying.
A
It's
thousand
like,
percent.
oh, I need to be a different person, therefore I need to change all the externals. And it's like, well, wait a minute. Do you have to change all the externals or not? Because maybe you don't. Maybe you just need to find your way of being.
I
Yep.
think what's so important to highlight right here is that it's authentic and unique for all of us. And that's the key, right? Is to really be able to go within and trust that inner voice. Because like for you, Nicole, you said you don't know that if you would have been able to take that leap, if you wouldn't have had the support, if you would have had somebody pushing against you, right? Well, my story is I did have somebody pushing against me and I took the leap anyways, and I ended up divorced. And that was the best thing for me. And I found the courage and I continue to find the courage. So it's like you stay in the job, you leave the job, you stay in the relationship, you leave the relationship. It's all about, like you said, what's the next step that feels authentic and in alignment. And also we find what we need when we need it. And so for you, human design and Gene Keys was something that you found, right? To kind of help you, I would imagine, once you got here and you were like, okay, now I'm here. Like, how did that come into your life? How did you discover that? And how has that helped you?
That was through, I was in certification for EFT. I was learning that I started hearing about it. So I had run my chart a while before that and been totally confused by it. I was like, what are these colors, these shapes, these lines? I don't understand. This is very confusing.
Yeah.
I'm a manifesting generator. What the hell does that mean? And then someone in my certification was a human design reader. So I was like, let me go deeper with her. I've been playing with this. I see some truth in it, but I don't get it. So let me just get someone to kind of take me through this whole thing. So I did a reading with her and then I was fascinated. And then I started to just I'm a one line in human design, which we're the investigators. We love to go deep and really dive into information. We're researchers at heart. So I researched my way through this where I was like, I dove deep. And about a year into my own experiment with it, I started to say, like, I think I want to do this. I think I want to bring this into my practice. I think I don't know how to not do it because this changed my life, completely changed my life. And as far as human design and Gene Keys are concerned, I found human design first. That was the first path. And I see human design as being like, that's like the masculine energy. That's the like, if this, then do that. It's easy to follow in the sense of it tells you what to do and when to do it and to know when you're on your path and when you're off your path. That genuine, that general map of who you are comes from human design. But there can be some really negative language with human design when you first start reading about it. If you read very traditional human design, depends on what your source is. But if you go to like the core source material of human design, it all sounds very negative. Like everything in your chart will just tell you about, well, here's the problems you're going to have. And that can be a little defeating. And I didn't know what to do with that. So there's something in Gene Keys and human design called your conscious sun, which is like the light you're here to shine. So I started diving into that. Mine was called the Gate of Confusion in traditional human design. And I was like, I'm in so much trouble. Like this is not
That doesn't sound good.
And then that path kind of led me to the Gene Keys, where the Gene Keys gives you the full picture, which is the full spectrum of everything in your chart. And this opened my eyes so much to that there's a full spectrum of shadow to light in everything, from darkness and struggle to enlightened Buddha level gifts of every single thing in the chart. You have them all. Are you living more in the shadow or are you living more in the gift? The game is to play more in the gift. I would say, like, there's all these things on your chart and I look at them all like dials, that every single thing, it's not, I need to get rid of this, I need to fix this. It's just, is this dial turned all the way low or is this dial turned all the way up? As you start to work with your design, you start to turn those dials up very naturally and life just gets better. Then you're at a higher frequency. You're vibrating higher. You are experiencing things in more flow. So I found this, like, again, a very organic path. It was brought to me. It was kind of, presented to me through lots of paths. I did the reading, and then just my own investigative journey of going deeper and deeper and deeper, and then saying, I want to teach this. This is definitely, I feel called, and I'm denying myself because I told myself no more certifications. You have enough. It's a crutch. Don't do that. And I just said, you're standing in your own way if you're not doing something that feels so right because you set up some arbitrary rule in your mind that you weren't going to do any more of that. Then you're kind of not following your design, and you're not doing what lights you up, and you're not doing what is aligned for you. So I took that, and everything has taken off since then. It's the greatest thing I've ever done. It's the center of all the work that I do are the gene keys in human design now. And it helps me find the issues that is the same thing that helped me. I knew how to clear a block, but it could take me a really long time to find it. Why am I blocked? Why am I getting stuck here? Why do I always come back to this? And EFT gave me a tool to really clear that block, but to do it with somebody else to find their stuff could be a long fact-finding mission of finding the blocks. And human design gives us this nice map that allows us to say, like, it might be here. It might be here. What happens when I ask you about this? It gives me these questions to ask and to sort of probe around to figure out maybe where there might be stagnant energy, where are you trying to go out the indoor? Where are you blocking yourself? And ways that we can get around that pretty quickly.
It sounds like you're an acupuncturist.
In a lot of ways, it's
moving
like,
energy.
Yeah.
You don't sleep well? Okay, here's a needle in your face and your neck. It's like, I don't even know why you're putting one in my foot, but that's apparently where I need help. And
Right.
yeah, it is pretty cool.
Okay, Nicole, I have to tell you, I found you on YouTube and I was so impressed with your YouTube channel and the way that you present the material, the way you make it so accessible, the way you're so smart about all of it. And it's just easy. You're not this, typical spiritual person who's talking about astrology or spiritual things. You're coming across as a very accessible, everyday, almost like businesswoman, but who understands the soul. And I think those things married together are part of what make you so effective and accessible and popular. And that's what I was drawn to, because I like that marriage.
Thank you very much. That's literally my design. So it's just been me stepping more and more into what I'm here to do and who I'm here to be. So human design gives you, I call it the trifecta. It's your human design type tells you the way your energy is going to move. So I'm a manifesting generator. I'm here to do lots of things. I am here to have, I'm multi-passionate. So my road is going to be very windy. So it let me let go of all of those conditioning elements that said you're flaky, you don't get it. And then, you're not on the straight path like everybody else. You're somehow failing. It was like, no, it's meant to be this way. Cool. I started feeling better already. Keep doing what you're doing, girl.
Yeah.
And then the authority helps you make decisions that are aligned with you and not with everybody, not with what you're taught to make decisions by your conditioning.
Yes.
And then your role, which is your profile, which is the role you're here to play. I look at it like the character we're here to play in this movie called Our Lives. Now, I'm a 5-1 role. That's my profile. And the 5-1 is practical leadership based on strong expertise. And I'm here to find, I believe, and now my conscious sun is the gate of confusion, like I said, but confusion, that's the shadow. The gift is clarity. The gift is imagination. The gift is illumination. It's very spiritual in a sense. But when you pair that with my role being practical in nature, I'm here to universalize information and take the things that I've learned and put them out in a way that people receive them differently. So it was just me stepping into that more and more. And that's the fun part, where the more I was doing what I was meant to do, the more I became that 5-1, I became that leader, that practical leader. And I would say I'm a type A hippie. I love that stuff. I've got
Yeah.
crystals all over this place, but I'm
Yeah.
also very, very much into like, but
Me too.
you need to be taking action. You need to, and there's different ways. It's also like some people are meant to do that more than others. This is my way. My way has been to kind of fumble my way through it, enjoy what I'm doing, do the things that I love, learn as much as I can, go to the bottom of the ocean to the information on it, and then come up, when I come up to the surface, I have a new way of understanding it, and then I share it. And I
Yeah.
share it in a way that's not just like esoteric and weird and difficult to understand, where it's like, okay, that's cool, but now what? I'm always asking myself the question, how do I tell them now what? Because that's how people get value, is being
Yeah.
able to use it in their lives. Because learning everything about human design and gene keys, it might be fun and interesting, but it's not going to change your life. What's going to change your life is starting to put awareness on the things that matter and start using it in your life, and start to follow your strategy that's going to tell you when things are right for you and when things aren't, and you'll start to see your life change. That's what does it. It's taking action. So I felt like there was a void in people giving you the tools to help you take action with it.
Can you, so some of the listeners might not have any understanding of human design. Can you give like a little description of each type, and then maybe a how-to or a strategy that they could easily implement today that would make sense to them?
Absolutely.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
That's a great place to start, because the biggest category that we have, this human design, is the science of differentiation. What makes you, you? And we get very, very granular down into the pieces, but we start out with 5 types. Those are the biggest ones. Those are the easiest to understand. And usually people get their type and they go, okay, that makes a lot of sense. Occasionally we have people that go, I thought I was going to be something else. And usually those people, congratulations, if you fall into that category, it means that you start making changes. You will start to see real results very, very quickly. Because once you start moving in alignment, you'd be like, oh my God, this is what life was supposed to be like.
Right.
So these 5 types, what they're telling you is, they're telling you, we're talking about aura, we're talking about energy. So we are talking about the way your energy is transmitted and received by others. How do you get into your flow? So the 5 types are manifestors, projectors, generators, manifesting generators, and reflectors. And I'll go through each one of those really briefly. Manifestors make about 8 to 9% of the population, so a very small piece, but very powerful piece. Manifestors, I can spot a manifestor almost like, at 10,000 feet. I can see them. There's just something about their energy. When we talk about aura, they have what we call a repelling aura, which can mean that it's just dense. And by repelling, that can sound really off-putting, but really what it's about is they're the visionaries of the collective. They are the ones that they just get an idea. And when they get something in their minds where they're like, I'm going after that, watch out. That's where the repelling aura comes in, that dense, powerful energy that's around them, that field of energy that's around all of us. We just all have different shapes and qualities to our energy. Their quality will, the way I see the repelling aura, or the way that I visualize it, is it's like it's going to move everything out of the way that's in the way of them getting what they want done. And they have something unique to offer, and they can be very inspiring to the rest of us. They can activate the rest of us. So that repelling aura can sort of create like this force field that's pushing through all of the obstacles, and the people who are right for them can get right behind them and go, I'm following that guy, because I just trust he's going to get where he says he's going. So
Is Oprah a manifester?
no,
Oprah Winfrey?
she
Oh,
is not.
okay,
And I
interesting.
think you'll understand.
Okay.
I'll call out a few examples.
Okay.
You'll notice the difference in just the quality of energy of these people. So manifestors, De Niro,
Okay.
Al Pacino,
Mm,
all leading men from like the 80s are manifestors, pretty much.
okay.
George Clooney, Tom Cruise. There is something
Wow.
about, don't get in their way. There is a powerful energy. For women, Jennifer Aniston, manifestor, Jennifer Lawrence, manifestor. If you get that there's something undeterred about them, there is something a bit Teflon about that energy that just says like, I go my way and I have my thing, and you can climb on or get out of the way.
Right.
So that type of energy is the manifester. They are here to do things differently. They are trailblazers. They are here to do it their way and to show their people the way. People who are not their people will get out of the way. Then we have projectors. They make up about 20% of the population. They are the guides of the world. They
That's
are
me.
here. Are you a projector?
Mhm.
So projectors, you're not going to have that go, go, go energy. Manifestors don't either. They'll go in spurts and then they'll stop. I'm doing this big thing and then I'm going to take time off. I'm going to pull back.
Mhm.
Projectors, it's more of a laid back energy. Now, there are different types of projectors. There are subtypes. We're not going to get into that because that's kind of another level. But from the high level projectors, you guys are here to be really, really tuned into other people. Your
Mhm.
energy, your aura kind of goes deep into one person. You have the ability to focus that people like me, manifesting generators, don't have as much of. Our energy is kind of all over the place. It wants to move. There's a stillness, a still quality to projectors that can be very magnetizing to people. There's a bit of a mystery sometimes with projectors because there is this aura of an aligned projector sends out a signal that says, pay attention to me. They're designed for success, but you're here to be invited. So the aura is penetrating, meaning it goes deep into other people. And like you look at somebody, you go deep. So if you were in a scene with somebody when you were acting, then you would probably be seeing deeply into them. Just energetically, you'd be able to pick up on energetic shifts in their alignment, in their emotions, in their identity. You'd be able to pick up on those things on the unspoken and the unseen. Now, not everybody wants to be penetrated. We need consent. So that's why the strategy for projectors is to wait for the invitation, to be invited, for the door to be open. Now, some projectors can feel invisible. It can feel hard to stand out because they feel like they're waiting for the invitation all the time. But you're built to be recognized for gifts, but you're probably going to have, specific things that you are really good at, and you want to exalt yourself first. It's about recognizing yourself. A projector who feels successful will draw in more success. A projector that feels bitterness, like I'm not being seen, nobody sees me, no one's getting how good I am, that's typical misaligned projector qualities.
Mhm.
When you are aligned with success in yourself, recognizing yourself, people start to recognize you. Famous projectors are Obama. Barack Obama is a projector. If we want to go way back, Abraham Lincoln, projector. Brad Pitt is a projector. Leonardo DiCaprio is a projector. Now, if you look at the quality of their energy, there is sort of like a laid back kind of stillness, still quality to these people where their ability is to take a lot in without needing to move on it, to be able to take that beat and hold it.
Mhm.
Projectors naturally have. So just those examples, kind of, if you look at the difference between, Pacino and DiCaprio, if you pay attention to it, there's a different quality to the energy. One's more forceful and one is more receptive.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, that's good.
then we move on to, reflectors are 1% of the population. We'll do them and talk about them. They have no centers defined. They're completely receptive. I don't have as many examples of those because they're very, very few. They're unicorns. Although my best friend from high school is a reflector, which is very funny to have
Wow.
like one of those unicorns that I was right alongside me for so long in my life. Reflectors are here to know a lot. So projectors are here to know a lot about other people, like the one person that they're focusing on. Reflectors know a lot about us as a whole, society, the world. They take things in and they just kind of get what's wrong. Can be on like a societal or a community way. They feel everything. Sandra Bullock is a reflector. But the best example of a reflector I can give is Margaret Atwood, who wrote The Handmaid's Tale.
Okay.
and many other books, but that's the one she's most known for. Reflectors are known for being like, they call them the canary in the coal mine, that they are, that just like the miners would bring the canary down to smell the gas. And if the canary died, it was telling you that everything was, things weren't safe down there and for everybody to get out. Reflectors are so sensitive that they will pick up on the things that are not okay that the rest of us cannot, but it's affecting all of us. So, not using the canary as a literal example, but, as if a reflector is getting sicker, if they are getting more unhappy, if they are feeling down, then they either might be in the wrong place or there might be something wrong with that place, with that community, with those surroundings, with that environment. Margaret Atwood, I use her as an example because she has a sense that there was something very, very wrong with the way the gender roles in this country and in the world, and that there's a fundamental problem with the way that the patriarchy is set up, that women are treated. And she wrote a book of how she felt it, like that this is the path that we are on. And whether you agree with that sentiment or not, that's her using kind of that energy of just, I sense this on this more collective level, on this community level, that something is deeply, deeply wrong here, and I need to ring the alarm bells. So that's the reflector.
Like they have an antenna almost. That's what I got a vision of, is like their antenna is like more, more in tune with.
It's like their energy is out there just sort of tasting the whole buffet all around them and then telling them whether or not the food is good at this restaurant.
Yeah.
Do we all need to go? Is this all safe for us? And they can, they're highly sensitive beings. Then we have generators, which generators and manifesting generators are sort of, manifesting generators are a subcategory of generators, although they are treated as a separate piece, a separate category themselves. Generator really means that you have the sacral center defined, which is the center of loving what you do. Really, generators and manifesting generators, we are both here to work. We're here to love the work we do. And for any generator who hears this, if you run your chart and you find out you're a generator or a manifesting generator, you're here to respond to life. So you've probably identify with the fact that when you are excited about something, a project could be cleaning the closet, or it could be the big project you've been working on. It could be working on a play. It could be working on something at work, could be anything. That when you're into it, you feel like you have endless energy for that thing. You could work and work and work and work and work, and you don't get tired. And you just feel, at the end of the day, you feel satisfied. That is generator
If you got it done.
If you got it done, or if you just, sometimes it's just, did you feel like you made progress? Did you feel like you moved the ball down the court?
Right.
And that can feel very satisfying. I can clean my garage and feel the same level of satisfaction as I can like putting together an entire program. Like it's just like, good job, Nicole, good job. That's what our energy is here for. So we are meant to work on the things that we are responding to. So the problem is that most of us want to initiate like a manifester. Generators and manifesting generators, they're the same in the sense that they're not here to just have an idea and move on something. And that's not a hindrance. It's just recognizing how our best things come to us. So for me, I was in response to that corporate job. I recognize now what was happening. I was being told I was not satisfied by the work. I was frustrated, which is the not self theme of generators. I was frustrated. I ignored it until the point it got too much, where I was getting angry, which is the not self theme of manifesting generators, is frustration and anger. We kind of tip over the scale of frustration into anger. And I let it go too long. And I went into anger, and then I started to feel physical effects, then I started to get depressed, and it was like, I don't want to get out of bed, and just really, really sad, because literally my engine that powers me and all of my alignment was not working. It was not working properly. So response is, I look out the window and I'm in response to outside. I'm in response to you guys right now. Am I excited for this conversation? I'll be able to do this and keep going, and time will fly by. That's the mark of an in alignment generator, being satisfied. I had a full day today. I was like back to back the entire day. I've had so much fun though all day that I'll get done today and I'll just be like, oh, this was a good day. This
Yeah.
was awesome. And tired is the best thing. It's a different kind of tired. So generators and manifesting generators, we're here to bring effort. We're here to build the visions that the manifestors have. We are the people that will sustain the energy to actually make it happen. We are the ones that the projectors are guiding because we have all the energy. So you're able to tap into it and say, there's a more efficient way to do that. If you just slow down, maybe you should do it like this. That's what projectors are really good at. And reflectors are kind of looking at all of us and being like, actually, I sense something is really wrong with the whole group. Let's talk about this.
Right.
And manifesting generators, the big difference between us and the regular generators are we have what we call a motor to the throat. We can be a little bit more ta-da. We can want a little bit more of that spotlight. We tend to want to create new things because we're a little bit manifester and a little bit generator. So the things that we want to work on typically are things that are like that we have a creative hand in, that we feel like we have some vision with. And
Yep.
we really want to have that. Like we can be great team leaders for that respect because very much self-starters. We have a vision, but we also have the energy to back it up. Where we get stuck is we are multi-passionate and we can tend to get distracted rather and pulled off our course. And there's a way to learn to work with that so that you can be a productive manifesting generator. You can be multi-passionate and you can still get stuff done.
It's like,
It'll look
here's my
different.
newsletter. Here's 10 offerings.
Yes.
Pick one. And everyone's like, there's too many things here, Siri.
Exactly. I have one,
Yeah.
I have one main offer, but it encompasses lots of things. And I'm like, this is a very Manny-Gen offer. I feel like it's very in alignment for me. It's like, these are all the things that I do. And here, this is how I can package it up for you.
I'm a projector, obviously series of man gen. And so, we've been in partnership together for a while now, and we've really, we've navigated the waters of understanding how each of us operate. And yes, recently she asked me if I would include something in my newsletter because, like she said, she's got all of the things in her newsletter. And I'm like, yes, I will. But this newsletter just has the one offer that I'm working on right now. That's what I got. And then the next one I do, I'm going to include that, and that'll be a different situation. But it's just confirming, just the different lens through which we see things and operate. And we've gotten really good at being able to recognize how each of us best operate and what it feels the most authentic, to each of our design.
Yes. What I noticed about projectors, because I was also business partners with, what do you like to call it, Amber? Not business partners.
It's fine. That's fine.
Working together.
I have a trigger about a business partnership because it didn't go so well. So I'm like, we are collaborators.
Collaborating. I had another collaborator that was also a projector, and I see the similar pattern, which is what's so amazing about projectors that I find is the efficiency that they have.
Yeah. That's what they're here to do.
And I'll be like, oh my God, I'm so jealous because I see that efficiency and I'm like, oh, that must be so nice. Because Amber will do less, but have just as much, if not more of an effect. I like to do a lot and have a lot of things on the smorgasbord, but not necessarily always the same amount of effect, but sometimes it is, do you know?
And your effect will have more to do less with efficiency and more with excitement.
Yeah.
How excited are you about the things
Yep.
that you're doing? If you're excited about 5 things, then 5 things are right. If you're excited about 3, but 2 of them are kind of been on your plate for a while, so you're keeping them going, that will pull your effectiveness down. Whereas Amber, her being focused and efficient, the more focused and efficient she is, the higher her signal is that she sends out. And who
Yeah.
is she going to attract? People who want that. Who needs that? A lot of times it's manifesting generators. It's why projectors tend to work really well with Manny-Gens when Manny-Gens allow themselves to be guided by the projector. We can tend to say like, no, I do it my way. And it's about finding your way through that. So we all have a role to play, and then we get more differentiated when we talk about like the type of projector, we talk about the profile lines. There's all ways that we get to more differentiated as human beings, but that general level of the category of understanding, like, am I meant to do lots of things and run around and just be excited all the time? You'll attract people that are right for that exact thing, as long as you're excited about it.
Yeah.
And most Manny Gens are not nearly as excited about things as they think they are. That's what I have found. That we're excited with the lots of things going on, not necessarily with the things that we are doing. And that's the part that we try to pay more attention to. And you can find that you can be more efficient. And that's where projectors sometimes can help, where they can point out where things maybe seem inefficient and ask you good questions that tell you like, oh, I never thought of that. I'm really not that excited about that. I am just kind of doing it because I'm caught up in the cycle of being busy. It's
I feel
fascinating.
like, I know we have to wrap things up, but I feel like we could do a whole other episode because there's so much more that I want to hear from you. One quick thing, I know this is maybe simplifying things, but would you say in general that if you're feeling fatigued or frustrated or not super happy, like, would you say that it's most likely because you are not in alignment with your blueprint and with your type, and you're not in your strategy?
Yes. If you're at all feeling like I operate under the assumption that we're all meant to be kind of in flow and happy most of the time. Not happy, like, forgive that somewhat cliche word, but you are supposed to feel fulfilled and generally content in your life. And if you don't, then that's a signal to kind of take a look and see if you're in the not self signature of any of those of your type. If you're a manifester, are you angry? Do you have like low grade anger kind of bubbling beneath the surface? If you're a projector, do you feel bitter and invisible, or like people aren't seeing you, or people aren't appreciating you? You're not being recognized. If you're a reflector, are you disappointed? If you're a generator, a manifesting generator, are you frustrated? If you're feeling any of those things, then that's your red flag to pause and reevaluate and just see, like, what am I being driven by? How am I working? How am I taking action? Because I'm not supposed to feel like this. I'm supposed to feel satisfied, successful, surprised,
Lit up. Yeah.
Embodied.
Embody, which we didn't even freaking
I
talk
know.
about. Oh my
I was
God.
like, the time is just going by so fast because there's so much to talk about. But yes, I mean, I feel like that is a message to me when I'm feeling embodied and in my body and in alignment, that I am operating in my blueprint, in my strategy correctly. We're gonna have to have you back on. That's
I
all there is
know.
to it.
Well, should we
must.
very quickly just talk about embodiment and what that means for you, Nicole? Like, what is an embodied woman to you? It's specific to each person. And what are the practices that are your like top 3 go-tos for embodiment?
Embodiment to me means being very grounded. If I feel like I'm running around not able to, like, my feet aren't hitting the ground, if they're like I'm just in perpetual motion, for me, then something's usually off. And I'm looking at those signatures. Am I frustrated? Am I not feeling connected to myself? I know now that if I feel overly emotional, I'm not grounded, and I need to process my emotions. That's how I embody. It's facing old emotions, facing anything. Am I shoving anything under the rug? Am I putting it away? Because I'm just putting it away for later. And
Yep.
later might be now. Something I pushed away a couple weeks ago might be coming back now. The more I faced that was where my journey started with EFT, was cleaning out the storage house of old emotions, was how I really got connected to myself again, because they pull the strings and they start to drive our actions subconsciously or completely unconsciously until we deal with them, like other personalities inside that are like, until you hear what I have to say, I'm going to start messing up your life. I'm just going to keep doing it. So being embodied to me is having all of those characters within me, all of those pieces on my team, and not operating as rogue agents pulling me, not letting my sadness keep me safe or anything like that. So, so really going in and looking at like, what am I afraid to feel? And when I'm faced with something that's scary, you know, am I really afraid, or is there something that needs to be looked at here? Is there something that I need to face? Is there some way I'm protecting myself? These are all questions I ask just kind of moment to moment now. And as far as practices are concerned, I do breath work every day.
Every
morning.
day? Oh, you're
Every
speaking
morning.
my language.
Every morning I clear out with a breath work because I love that a somatic practice I think is really necessary to really be in your body. You've got to work with your body. So I do breath work. I tap if I feel like I have something to go off, like to work through specifically, but breath work clears my energy, and then meditation and visualization. Those are the things, like, let me clear out the vessel, let me ground myself, and then let me connect to a vision that's beyond where I am now. Let me make sure I'm connecting with what I want and not what I don't want, not with fears, but with my highest aspirations that I have for myself. Can I live from that moment for even a few moments at the start of the day? That changes the entire day for me.
Beautiful.
So good.
So good. We love it.
I'm
Do you
gonna
like to
I'm gonna have to go
dance?
back and listen to that, because what that description of the parts of you that were going rogue, I was like, that's brilliant.
Thank you.
Dancing, yes.
Do you
We
like
love
to dance, Nicole?
I do.
Yeah.
I have
Yeah.
a 6-year-old, so we have a lot of we dance quite a bit here.
Oh,
Are
you
you
gotta
in
come
LA?
dance with us.
Are you in LA still?
I'm not. I'm in Austin now, but I make it back to
Oh.
LA. If I am, I will
Oh.
look you guys up. I will absolutely let you know when I'm in town.
Well,
Yes.
we're doing a in-person experience May 22nd in LA. I live here, Siri does not, but we're doing a breath work because she's a breath work facilitator, and then I teach empowered dance. So we're bringing those two embodiment practices together. So
That sounds amazing. That's
Yeah.
an incredible event. I wish I were there.
Me too. I
maybe
wish we
we'll
could
have to
hang
go
out
to
with you.
Austin. Maybe we'll have to go to Austin, Siri,
Maybe
and
you
do an
will.
event there.
Well, that's where Dr. Evan, he's in Texas too.
I think there's a lot of people in Austin.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? Aubrey Marcus and his whole crew.
So
All right.
we want to respect your time. Thank you, Nicole. You are brilliant. We love you. To know you is to love you. Thank you for the very clear explanations of everything, and for your
So good.
authenticity and your vulnerability, because we dove straight from the beginning into that vulnerability and that authenticity. And it just makes you so accessible and so lovely. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for your time. Thank you.
Thank you so much. This was such a pleasure. I appreciate you guys having me on. Thank you.
Oh, so good. So good. Mwah. Until next time.
We
Have
can't
a
wait
great
to
day.
share you with everyone. Oh, where do you want people to find you?
Oh, well, please listen to my podcast if you want to go into more human design. We've got like well over almost 300 episodes now of Unshakeable with Human Design is the name of the show. You can get it anywhere podcasts are. And then you can follow me on Instagram. I'm at Nicole Laino Official. And if you haven't run your chart, you can go to nicolelaino.com/chart, and you can run a free human design chart right there for you. And we'll send you some information about your type for free and everything.
Amazing.
Perfect.
Amazing.
Perfect.
All right.
All right. Thank you, Nicole.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
That was great.
I love how everyone's different in their explanation.
I know.
So thank you for asking her that, because it really does give you another level of clarity.
Yep, it does.
I mean,
agree.
how many have we had on? Like 5? Is she like our 5th human design person or 4th?
We've had Alexandra Cole.
Yep.
We've had Travis
Rachel,
Day,
Travis,
Rachel, Travis,
and then and Annalena.
Annalena. Yeah.
She's our 5th human design expert.
Oh, isn't that interesting?
We are like the human design podcast here. I mean, 5 human design experts.
Amazing.
Amazing.
Well, because it's a very, very helpful and insightful tool to have.
I mean, we both are clearly in love with it. Clearly.
I'm obsessed. It's so it's just so validating, right? I mean, that's like what I always come back to. It's just so reaffirming that there's not one way to do things.
Yeah, and that there's nothing Wrong.
What's
I'm
going
just
on?
noticing her thing is this meeting is being recorded. Still, I don't know if it's how this works because she was recording too. But there's
Oh,
nothing wrong with how
any of
we
us.
work, how we
That's right.
work, how we
That's
each
right.
work. We're our way of being, like you're saying, it's so validating. And but also, I've shared this before, is when I've shared human design with Jake or with my oldest Phoenix, they just had the most amazing reactions
I know.
upon first hearing, right? And so, and obviously you and I are like in the experiment, like Travis Day talked about, seven and Rachel Lieberman.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, like they talked about, sorry, we probably shouldn't be like promoting other human design experts on her episode. It does, but you know,
There's no
everyone's gonna find the right
competition.
person, everyone's gonna
Yeah,
find the right person for them,
that's right.
right? And obviously I do donation-based readings, but we
Yeah,
all, you know, are gonna gravitate towards who we are wanting to connect with. It's so
that's
it's a,
right. It's like the Instagram live that I did recently about having 8 billion people in the world. Like
yeah.
there's a enough people to need all of our services.
And wouldn't it be a better world if more people did human design readings? Because
Yeah.
it's all about being our best selves in our most aligned selves. And
Yeah.
when we're in our most aligned self, we are giving the world the vibration that it needs the most.
That's right. That's exactly what I was saying. It's about, yes, the frequency that all of us create when we are stepping into our highest alignment. I mean, I this is kind of getting off topic, but it's kind of the same vein. I
Mhm.
think in that same Instagram live, I was saying how, you know, you've got Kathy Heller, Tracy Litt, and
By
Kate
the way,
Northrup.
Kathy's a manifester, right? You know that?
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, that
Yeah.
makes sense. That makes sense. But they all three, you know, I mean, they have their own unique style and design, obviously, and they offer similar, right? I mean, it's in the same world. Do you need to cough? Are you okay? Are you choking? Um, and they all promote each other, right? That's the beautiful thing, is they recognize that they're not taking away from the other by promoting
Yeah, I mean,
their
everyone's
work.
their own unique flavor. And I like to say,
Exactly.
we were in our embodied woman sisterhood last week and we were
Hmm.
talking about this and I said everyone is a star in the sky,
Yes.
and if we all shine our light, our
Yeah.
unique light,
Yeah.
the sky gets lit up.
Right.
And when we dim our light, we're not helping anything.
No, we're not. Hey, it's a full moon tonight. Did we already talk about that? Speaking of the sky, it's a full
No,
pink
not on
moon.
this recording we didn't.
Okay, well, when this airs, it will be beyond the full moon, but just
Beyond the
saying,
moon,
beyond the
a
moon.
new series.
It's just always cool to, like, you know, kind of tap into what's happening cosmically so that we can, you know,
Understand. Yeah.
understand what's going on. What's
Yeah,
going
like why
on.
are you up all night or why is technology not working today?
Yeah. In the full moon, you know, I always love to follow Everything Aligns. Do you follow them on Instagram? Everything Aligns.
No.
My two go-tos every morning, I'm like Moon Omens and Everything Aligns. Like they always have a daily thing.
Hmm.
So they were talking about the full moon and they were saying what each sun sign in astrology, you know me,
Yes.
I love this shit.
Yes.
What this full moon is
I know
representing.
you swim in it.
I love it.
It's
I love
it's
it.
all you all the time. But I think that it works for you. And so that's the most
Yeah.
important thing.
Well, guess what mine said for Sagittarius?
What? What did it say?
True love.
The hopeful romantic. Oh
I
my
know.
goodness. But you
I
know
never-
what? You
Never
should
give up. Never give up.
you should live in your utopian medicine.
I should. And I do.
Yeah.
Yep.
I love it.
I am.
Okay, any last Oh, well, I just wanted to say that the embodied woman experience in LA that we were just talking about is getting close to selling out. So, yes, bring girlfriends And
Yes.
also do it soon, because not only is it getting close to selling out, which it's going to do, because there's a lot of women that are going to be there already for the podcasting summit that we're going to be at.
It's 111.
What you said that the last episode. Um, now I lost what I'm trying to talk about the embodied woman
It's
experience
full,
in LA.
almost full. Get your seat
Okay,
now.
thank you. Thank you, projector. Boom.
Efficiency. Boom. There's a lot of people.
All right,
They're already
guys,
coming.
get
You
your
gotta
ticket.
come.
Point being, price is going up. I swear to God, it's going up. It is going up. So get it now, because you don't want to have to pay more. Okay.
Okay.
I sound like a saleswoman, but you know, it's part of the deal.
Get it now.
Love you guys. Thank you
Love
for being
you.
on the journey with us. I hope that you will experiment with your human design. Like, really, it's an experiment. Play with it. See how it feels to you to live in that way of being, because
Yeah.
it's not overnight. It's a journey. It's a 7-year journey of experimentation of like, well, what would it feel like to respond when I'm initiated? What would it feel like to hold off on this? What would it feel like to say no if it doesn't feel good to my body? What would it feel like to be in the environment that is best suited for me so that I can feel like I'm not being affected by the outside conditioning where my chakras are open? Like, it's an experiment. So see how it feels.
Notice in your body, right?
Yes.
And like, it's also helpful to know what other people's profiles are, because like if you're a projector and a generator is giving you advice on how to,
Then they should
do
shut up.
things, then and you feel every part of your body contracting and wanting to scream,
Then
you
run
go,
away. No.
oh, that's not an alignment for me, little generator. So I'm a projector and I just need to be here and meditate until I come into alignment and magnetize.
Jake has been, because he's a projector as well, he
Yeah.
has been taking naps in the afternoon. And I'm like,
Projectors, yeah.
yes. Ever since I understood his design, I'm like, you go. Not that I was ever like, don't nap, but I'm like, please go do your nap.
Yeah, it's hard for a man, Jen, to like see somebody taking a nap, because you might want to take a nap, but you've got this generator. That's
Oh
like,
yeah. I'm like, I wish I could,
that's not okay.
but
Yeah,
I'm starting
not
to
a
give
big
myself
napper.
more permission too.
Yeah,
Yeah, for sure.
we all have to rest.
Love you.
Love you.
Bye, guys.
Bye. See you soon.
Okay. Boom, boom, biddy, boom.